y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind scrappywife.com, and today I have a Bible journal process video for you. I'm actually going to take some of the sermon notes from a recent sermon at church and do a little bit of journaling in my Bible for that passage. And as I do that journaling, not only am I going to deal with the heart, take some of the notes and dig into the scripture a little bit more, but I'm also going to deal with some bleed through in my Bible, which I get questions about all of the time because I do not use gesso to prep the pages in my Bible. So I do have bleed through frequently, and the page I'm wanting to journal on is actually in Matthew 24, and you can see that I have a lot of bleed through from some distress glaze that I used, and then some stamping, a little bit of shadowing. So I'm going to use that, and then I'm also going to use some scrapbooking supplies. So recently a ton of new scrapbooking lines were released. They are all gorgeous, and I know that a lot of us crafters just love the gorgeous paper, but if you have chosen Bible journaling as one of your crafts, sometimes it can feel a little bit challenging on how to use scrapbooking supplies in your actual Bible. So I'll be using scrapbooking supplies from the Maggie Holmes line called Garden Party. I have several of her papers, and then I also have her sticker package, and it is beautiful, just full of some gorgeous images. So I can't wait to use it. I, just like I always do, will link everything that I use down below so you can check those out if you're interested in finding any of these products. Otherwise, let's go. One of the easiest ways to cover up bleed through is to simply cover it up with scrapbook paper. And that's what I'm going to start with. And I'm actually going to layer a couple of different papers. I love this floral paper, but I'm trying to imagine what it would look like trimmed out. So I'm going to fussy cut out this floral paper, and then I will layer it on top of some polka dot pattern that is on the other side, and it covers beautifully and really creates a bold background for me to do my journaling on. The passage that I'm focusing on is in Matthew 24, verses 22 through 28, where it says, "If those days had not been cut short, no one would survive, but for the sake of the elect, those days will be shortened. At that time, if anyone says to you, 'Look, here is the Messiah,' or 'There he is,' do not believe it. For false messiahs and false prophets will appear and perform great signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect. See, I have told you ahead of time. So if anyone tells you, 'There he is, out in the wilderness,' do not go out, or 'Here he is in the inner rooms,' do not believe it. For as lightning that comes from the east is visible even in the west, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. Wherever there is a carcass, there the vultures will gather." Our sermon series at church recently has been called Holding On, and it's all about belief and what we are called to believe in and what we are often deceived into believing. And really the Bible is clear. Belief is only used, the word pistuo, or belief, is only used in reference to believing in the one true God, or Christ. And so that's the only thing we are called to believe in. We're not to believe in anything of this world. So it can be easy to be distracted by false prophets, to be distracted even by our own churches at times, because sometimes a church focuses more in on itself and less on God and on the bigger picture. So it's been a great sermon series. I've really enjoyed it, and I had a lot of little notes, which is why I used this cut apart sheet. So I like all of these little journaling spots. You saw I had a ton of notes. There's a few that I wanted to highlight in my Bible. And so I'm taking all of these little pieces. I'm kind of distressing the edge with some gray distress oxide ink just to make them stand out just a little bit more, change it up a little bit, and then I will layer these, and that will give me lots of little kind of vignettes or little places where I can add some journaling. I also dipped into my stash and found these paper fringe pieces from Felicity Jane. I have no idea what kit these were from. I subscribed to Felicity Jane for about a year and a half, maybe a little bit more, and then just recently took a break just because I have a lot of supplies. And so this was in my stash. I thought it would add just a little extra something without adding too much bulk to my page. So I'll be using that fringe. You can see I had fussy cut out those florals and I'm just layering it on top of the spotty dots. So you still see the spotty dots coming through on the edges, but really the florals kind of set the tone for the whole background of the page. And they go up and over the top. So the top of that one pink floral ends up being the tab for the whole page. What I opted to do, I considered whether I wanted to add the fringe to the side or maybe coming over the words a little bit, but I decided to just cut small strips and I'm going to put them underneath a few of these journaling spots. And like I said, it's nothing that's going to be in your face, but it does add a little interest, a little bit of texture, but not very much bulk at all, which is always a plus in my book. So that is getting all set. I'm just trimming out little pieces of those and then just using my tape runner to run some adhesive along the back of each journaling spot, and then I'll put the fringe on it and then trim it off just a bit and then layer them. So I'm doing the 3 boxes like that. The 2 rectangles I'll just leave on their own because I thought it would end up being a little bit too much if I did it on all of them. Once I get those set, then I just kind of play with the arrangement of the boxes before I go and add the journaling. And some key points that I just wanted to make sure I got down was this idea of avoid the calls to escape or entrench, because Jesus very specifically says that people that try to deceive us will call us to escape, meaning there he is out in the wilderness, like leave your society and come out. That's a sign that we're to note that that is not something that Jesus would have us do. And then also the call to entrench. He's in the inner rooms to really dig down and live in solitude. That's not something that Jesus wants us to do either. So I wanted to get that concept. I wanted to get down the definition of pisteuo, which is the word believe in Greek, I believe, Greek. And it only ever refers to belief in God. So I thought that was a really clear point that I wanted to bring out. I am adding the title of my page using some By the Will for God clear alphas, which is why I love these stickers, because I can put it directly over the text like you see here, and I can still read everything on the page, which is wonderful. And the title is going to be The Danger of Misbelief, which was the title of this particular sermon. I'll definitely link this sermon down below. I have found this whole series very, very interesting and very thought-provoking and really timely as we're kind of coming back into our own and kind of evaluating things in a different way. I think we all are seeing through different eyes after 2020, and this is a really good way to make sure that our eyes are focused on God and not being distracted by all of the things that are now calling for our attention in this world. I have my sermon notes sitting right next to me so that I can pick and choose the pieces that I'm wanting to journal or re-journal in my Bible. And once those are all in, once that journaling is done, then I'll actually just take the sticker book and look through and add a few more little details. I definitely could have left the page like this. I think what really makes some pages stand out or feel just a little bit more personal would be the details. And so I'm going to add the date at the bottom. I actually end up using the gray Distress Oxide ink because I didn't want it to be so in your face with the date. And then I'm pulling out the sticker book and I'm just going to add a few little stickers here and there. And it's just these tiny little details that I find intriguing when you go back to look at the page. I think it draws attention when my kiddos take a look at the page and then brings their attention to the words, which would be the main focus for me. I also ended up not underlining the verses that I was focusing on because I did notate that section in one of my journaling boxes. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. I hope this inspires you to kind of reach into your scrapbooking supplies or to look at some of the new lines that are out. They are gorgeous and you can most definitely use them in all kinds of hobbies, just like Bible journaling. I will link everything that I used down below in the description box. Heads up, some of those will be affiliate links. It does not cost you any more, but it does go a long way to supporting this YouTube channel and allowing me to create more content. A special shout out to my YouTube members. Thank you so much for your support. YouTube membership, again, supports this channel and allows me to create content, and YouTube members receive some extra perks. So if you want to find out more about that, make sure you click the join button. I hope that you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.